Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hormuz Freedom Campaign for the AV-8B Harrier in DCS World, where we're now on to Mission 6, SCUD Hunter. And so, as the mission name implies, we are hunting SCUDs today. Story being that after the capture of Siri Airfield in the last mission, Iran responded by firing SCUDs at Liwa Air Base, and they damaged civilian property around the area, so there's now really big pressure by the US allies to de-escalate the war before there are more civilian casualties. America's decided to apparently deal with that by escalating the situation. We are now going to go hunt down the SCUDs. We know their previous launch location, we also know that they are likely to be moving, but we know the rough direction that they're moving in, likely moving towards a fortified town where there is more sand cover. And so we know the rough area, but not an exact position. Now, at the same time, because we're now hitting mainland Iran, we are going to be facing much stronger resistance, and so just before we're going in, F-18s are going in on a massive SCUD operation, and F-14s are going to be providing cap throughout. Now, that didn't actually work particularly well on my first outing on this one. This is my second attempt. The first attempt, the SCUD operation got shot to pieces, many of them being destroyed before I even got off the ground, and then the cap flight failed. And so our flight ended up being engaged by the enemy cap. And Harriers are good, but they're not really able to compete against MiG-29s in nighttime warfare. So yeah, but this time it all worked a bit better, so let's jump in.
Springfield 1-2, I'm hit. Springfield 1-2, I'm hit. My hydraulics are... Springfield 1-4 has been hit. Anyone see a shoot?
Enfield 1-1, you've been hit. Get out. Eject. Eject.
So as I said, it went better this time, but still not great. We took really heavy casualties. I think that's meant to happen. Nothing I can do. I'm taking off at this point. But at least they seem to have managed to do their job this time. And we're not bothered by fighters. There are a few that are detected throughout the mission, but the cap flight seems to be more or less intact and is able to handle them for this one. So we are able to continue on and we reach the target site. Now, while I am searching for targets, I do temporarily get a call that there is a hostile that is getting rather close, so I do turn towards it. But by the time I get a bogey dope, that one has already been shot down, so I turn back to my targeting display, and it just so happens that I have managed to spot the convoy here. You can see them nicely laid out on the display there. They are just going over the middle of the terrain, middle of the desert, and so the hot vehicles are sticking out a little bit like sore thumbs, so they're not too bad to try and find. I decide to kick things off with the GB-12 laser-guided bomb that I have. Since these things are moving nice and easily, I've got a nice bit of altitude, and so it seems like a good option. I've already entered the laser code to match the preset 1688 on the weapon itself, and got everything armed and ready, and so then it's just a case of waiting until we're in range, pressing and holding weapon release, and then pickle. And I just maintain course. I'm nice and high, so don't need to worry too much about the targeting pod losing line of sight, so just keep going straight to give myself some distance for the next pass. I do flip between having the night vision goggles on and off, can see the screen a lot clearer with them off, even when I've messed around with the settings, and so when I'm wanting to pay attention to the display, I have them off. When I'm wanting to look at the aircraft and don't want to get disoriented, I put them back on. By the way, after a little bit of delay, the bomb comes in, and nice shack there. Good hit on the target, bit of damage on another SCUD, that is one of them destroyed. I do have a second GBU-12, so decide to use that on my next pass. I'm just going in nice and high altitude still, and then again, same plan, lock up one of the other scuds. Nicely they've stopped moving at this point, which makes this really quite straightforward, and then pickle. And again here, no real issues. The laser guided bomb can hit a moving target fine, it can absolutely hit a stationary target, and so after a little bit of a delay it comes in, and another direct shack. Now here I do make a mistake. My wingman still has his full armament, I'm out of mine, so I decide to send my wingman in. Now what I probably should have done is tell him to engage primary. Problem is, I've had a bit of bad luck with telling wingmen to engage primary targets in DCS, so I decide to just tell him to engage targets.
Flight. Engage targets of opportunity.
2, copy. 2, engaging air defenses.
The problem there is the DCS logic, which does make sense, is that it will always prioritise air defences first. I initially thought that might be air defences near this convoy. Turns out instead he had prioritised one of the SA-15 sites at Bandar Abbas, which this convoy is trying to head towards. And I do unfortunately somehow rebore sight the targeting pod, so it goes off target here, which is a bit unfortunate, but I do manage to get that shack nice and easily. While I was searching for all of that, I did notice there is one more vehicle, a small little truck that is parked nearby, so that's my next target. Now, unfortunately, while I am trying to go in and get eyes on for guns, my number 2 does go in, and at this point he fires off a magnum, which is all good, except his magnums are only the sidearms, and he immediately goes defensive. I don't hear anything else from him, but he doesn't check in again, and in the post-battle screen it is confirmed he did trade. He managed to get the SA-15 site, but he took a direct hit and goes down here, so at this point I am on my own. Now I do spend some time trying to find what's happened to the other group. There were 2 sections, but I can't find them anywhere. I think they have moved on quite a bit in the meantime while I was engaging the first group. So in the end I just decide to write them off and go in to finish off the first group, who only have that little truck with them. I am struggling to get the IR Maverick to lock, mostly because I'm having issues with the targeting pod here. I'm not great with it still. Really do miss the head-mounted targeting cue that you get with the A10C2. But in the end just decide, right, I know where this truck is, so go in with guns and fire a burst at them. And do some damage, not enough to kill him, but done some damage. Do get really low to the ground, lower than I should be. Do find judging distances hard in night ops. On the bright side, the target taking some damage means he comes to a stop once again, which means that he's a lot easier to hit. So roll back in on him once more and fire a rather long burst. And this time do get critical damage on him. Interestingly, it is marked as a ZU-23, so it was actually an anti-air vehicle. It just never seemed to fire at me at all during that. Might well be because it was a night mission and the ZU is only optical. It might simply have not been able to detect me. By the way, target down, and that is really all I can do. I completely lose sight of the other group. I do look around for them for a bit more, but with only one laser Maverick there's nothing that I'm going to be able to do to completely clean that group, and I've not really got many bullets left after those passes. So decide at this point to RTB. So RTBing goes absolutely fine with practice with landing on a moving carrier deck and a short carrier at that. Landing on an airfield is really a nice change of pace there. So all in all, managed to do our job, got rid of 3 of the SCUDs, 1 of their supporting vehicles. Our other wingman did go down and said he traded for an SA-15. Altogether though, quite an interesting mission, did like it. Would have preferred if it wasn't so reliant on the AI. In general, the AI in DCS is a little hit and miss, so I do prefer missions that more rely on the player rather than AI engagements. As I said, the first one I just ended up being overwhelmed because the AI seed flight went in and completely messed things up. But anyway, another mission down, we are proceeding and we're now attacking mainland Iran, so it'd be interesting to see where the campaign goes from here. Hope you are all enjoying, and if you are, hope to catch you in the next video. Until then, remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.